What's the number one thing that's holding most people back from reaching their full potential?
The story they sell themselves on. Everyone's got a story. And everyone wants to tell you their story of how bad they had it, how hard they had it. And the more times you tell yourself or others that story, the more you reinforce the fact that you're not meant to have happiness, success, abundance. They don't realize that they still hold the pen. There's thousands of empty pages still in that book that they can rewrite that story. But we have to let go of the pages that others have written in our book and realize we got this pen and we can start writing how the story looks from this day forward. But what's stopping them is the work that they haven't done, the work of healing through their traumas, their insecurities, their limiting beliefs, the glass ceiling, the whatever the thing is.
The mentality of greatness. There are no breaks. I hate to tell people that. Today's time, everybody wants it fast. You can be popular, but to be great, Monday on top of Tuesday, Tuesday on top of Wednesday, Wednesday on top of Thursday, Thursday on top of Friday, Friday on top of Saturday, Saturday, Sunday. Let's start over, let's start over, let's start over, let's start over.
When nothing seems clear, trust that the fog is part of the journey. Man, the fog is part of the journey. So often when we're going down our paths and there's a lot of fog around us and we can't see, we get so discouraged. We think something is wrong. We feel like the fog is negative. Oh my gosh, I can't see. Oh my gosh, I'm lost, I'm confused, I don't know what's going on. Whoa, whoa. Understand the fog is a part of the journey. It's teaching you how to trust. And what is it making you trust? It's helping you to trust in the one step right in front of you. Because whenever you're in fog, you can't see down the road, but you can see the one step in front of you. And you just got to keep trusting that if I keep taking that, even when I can't see, that eventually clarity will come. And you keep doing that, and eventually what happens? You gracefully move through that fog, and you step into that sunlight. You step into that clarity. And it's a beautiful thing. And all that came because you were able to understand that the fog is a part of the journey. Rather than seeing the fog and resorting back or staying stuck, because you had the right perspective of it, it allowed you to move through it and step into the light.
So my big thing is, when I live my life, I want to make sure that when I'm dead and gone, that I wring that wash rag out, and that wash rag is my soul. And I also believe that we're going to end up one day meeting a maker, if you believe in one. And I believe that maker knows everything about you. Everything about you. Knows I was going to be here and talking to you. Knows everything. But you also have a choice to make. You have a choice to make. We have choices. And the one thing that scares me to death in my life is getting to heaven and not being what I was supposed to be. And I believe that God has a chart, and he looks at the chart and he puts it in front of you and you get to heaven. He says, hey, this is what you're supposed to be. And one of my biggest fears in life was to see that chart and not have every block checked off. I want to make sure that I'm constantly pursuing whatever it is I'm pursuing, just to be the best. Just constantly grinding myself into a fine powder.
So don't give up, though the pace seems slow. You may succeed with another blow. Success is just failure turned inside out. It's the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. And you never can tell how close you are. It may be near, but it seems so far. So stick to the fight. When you're hardest hit, it's when things seem worst that you must not quit.
Together they said to me, well, how can you continue? Do you have the strength or the will or the enthusiasm or so? And I said, how can you ask this question? It is, if I abandon this project, I would be a man without dreams. And I don't want to live like that. I live my life, or I end my life with this project.
It can't be done. This is why I try to tell you, anything and everything can be done if you can visualize it and if you believe in yourself. Let me tell you, you're going to find the naysayers in every turn that you make. Don't listen. Just visualize your goal, know exactly where you want to go. Trust yourself. Get out there and work like hell and break some of the rules and never, ever be afraid of failure.
Take full responsibility for what happens to you. It's one of the highest forms of human maturity, accepting full responsibility. It's the day you know you've passed from childhood to adulthood, the day you accept full responsibility. I used to have that long list of reasons why I wasn't doing well. I used to blame the government. I used to blame taxes. Look what you got left after they take everything. And they expect you to do well. I used to blame the weather. I blamed the traffic. I used to blame my car. I blamed the manufacturers. See, I used to blame everything outside. And then let me give you a little philosophy that helped turn my life around. For your notes, here it is. It's not what happens that determines the quality or the quantity of your life. It's not what happens. It's what you do that changes everything.
Face it. You do not look away when challenges come. You don't blame yourself if at that moment in time you are not able to face it. The only thing you're gonna do is you step back, you take time for yourself, you invest the work and prepare yourself to return.
You just gotta weather it and keep on walking and don't flinch. Don't let them know they got you. And what we doing is at a standstill, or stepping back, because we don't do that. Right. We keep on walking.
Anger. It's one of those emotions we're told to suppress, to control, to push down deep where no one can see it. Society teaches us that anger is destructive, unproductive, even shameful. But the truth is, anger is one of the most powerful forces you'll ever feel, if you know how to use it. Because anger, when left unchecked, can consume you. It can turn you bitter, vengeful, or paralyzed. But when you learn to channel it, to harness it, to turn it into fuel, it becomes something extraordinary. It becomes a tool, a driver, a force that pushes you toward action, toward change, toward the life you've been waiting to build. The question isn't whether you'll feel anger. You will. The question is, what will you do with it? Anger is neither good nor bad. It's energy. Raw, untamed energy that surges through you in response to pain, injustice, or frustration. It's your body's way of saying, this isn't right, this needs to change. But anger has two paths. One path is destruction. It's yelling at the wrong people, burning bridges, making impulsive decisions that you can't take back. The other path is creation. It's taking that energy and turning it into something meaningful, something that builds, that grows, that transforms. To use anger as fuel, you have to choose the second path. And that starts with understanding the source of your anger. Anger doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It comes from somewhere deep inside you. Pain, fear, frustration, disappointment. Before you can channel your anger, you need to face it. Ask yourself, why am I angry? What's the root of this feeling? What's underneath it? Sometimes it's about unmet expectations, about feeling like you've been wronged or overlooked. Sometimes it's about fear, fear of failing, of losing, of not being enough. And sometimes it's about frustration with yourself for not living up to your own potential. Whatever the reason, identifying the source of your anger is the first step to transforming it. Because when you know where it's coming from, you can direct it. You can decide what to do with it.
Let anger be the spark, but let discipline be the engine. Because success isn't built on flashes of emotion. It's built on relentless effort, day after day, choice after choice. Anger is often seen as a destructive force, and it can be if you let it. But when you channel it toward creation, it becomes something entirely different. it becomes the fuel for building something meaningful. Whether that's a business, a skill, a relationship, or a new version of yourself. Ask yourself, how can I turn this anger into something positive? How can I use it to grow, to improve, to make an impact? Let your anger inspire you to build, to create, to leave something behind that proves you didn't let the pain win.
Every emotion has something to teach you, and anger is no different. It's a signal, a guide, a call to pay attention. What is your anger trying to tell you about your values, your boundaries, your goals? What lessons can you take from it? Maybe it's teaching you that you deserve better. Maybe it's showing you that something in your life needs to change. Maybe it's reminding you of the fire inside you, the one that refuses to settle, to give up, to accept less than you're capable of. Let anger be your teacher, not your enemy. Let it guide you, not control you. Think of anger like fire. Left uncontrolled, it can burn everything to the ground. But when harnessed, when contained, it becomes a powerful tool. It can light your way. It can warm you. It can forge something strong and unbreakable. The fire of anger doesn't have to consume you. It can transform you. It can push you to do the hard things, to face the challenges, to become the person you know you're capable of being.
The world will give you plenty of reasons to be angry. People will hurt you. Circumstances will disappoint you. Life will throw obstacles in your path. But every time you feel that fire rising, you have a choice. You can let it consume you, or you can let it fuel you. Use your anger to remind yourself of what you want, of what you deserve, of what you're willing to fight for. Let it push you to take the steps, to do the work, to rise above. Anger doesn't have to be destructive. It can be transformative. It can be the fuel that turns your pain into purpose, your frustration into focus, your fire into a force for something extraordinary. So the next time you feel anger bubbling up, don't run from it. Don't let it control you. Harness it, channel it, and use it to build the life you know you're meant to live. Because that fire inside you, it's not something to fear. It's your power. Use it.